And just like that, my life at SSx has now come to an end. Man, that was hard to watch and hard to do. So, anyways, welcome back to the channel, guys. This is JTQ9, formerly of SSx1, and this video for you today, um, I felt like I needed to do. I've been with SSx for, well, I was the longest standing member at the time, and felt like I wanted to go out the proper way and to kind of explain maybe what happened or um, just just to go through a couple of things. So what you'll see in the background here are basically all my deaths from this season, to just kind of give you some some viewing material at your pleasure that you can see while I'm talking. But and I honestly don't know what's going to kind of come out of my mouth as we go through this, but I guess the best way to do is to just start. So basically, over the course of the last whatever 9+ years I've been playing the game, two alliances in particular have eaten up a significant amount of my Mcoc life. There was one being WA and the other one obviously being SSx. There was a sprinkle in there where I spent some time with the Ozfans Alliance and in AX-Men, but again, both of them were not very long. So I consider myself being in basically two main alliances for the last kind of 9 years, with this one being at least 4+, maybe even closer to 5 years with SSx. So I want to start saying thanks to my old pal Rosaro for getting me into SSx2 when WA initially folded. Quickly became friends with a whole bunch of guys there. I believe MP Blaze was the leader at the time when I got in, and shortly after I got in, he left, and I think Rob Hop took over and created basically a very friendly, competitive environment, but primarily focused on enjoying the game with friends. Throughout the last number of years, there'd be game nights, people jumping on calls, Discord, just to hang out while completing Everest content. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen now, but for myself personally, I was kind of less involved over the last little bit, once kind of some of these guys moved on. And then over the years, we started climbing the ranks from, I think we were initially in maybe P2, P3 to P1 to eventually Masters, but always managed to kind of keep the fun alive, because we were all obviously playing with friends who wanted to compete and who wanted to move up and get better. So when WA folded, just to kind of give some history here, I'd kept the alliance with my alt account and kind of continued to build resources. While that was still relevant, and the entry cost, everything was extremely high, and eventually that's when kind of SSx2 became SSx1. Is that we ended up making the swap over to the old WA alliance, to kind of use the resources that had just kind of been sitting there, to give kind of everyone a little bit of a relief when we had to pay those donations and stuff like that. So basically my account has been linked to this SSx1 alliance since the inaugural season, and after 46 years, it is time to move on. So I do want to make it clear right away that maybe it wasn't as clear in my last video, but that this was not my decision. But after having my worst kind of season on record, it was decided that the direction of the alliance, and the officers, that it was no longer it's getting hard to say, no longer about playing and necessarily growing with longtime friends, but that'd be chasing kind of podium stuff moving forward. And no one has kind of come out officially and said that their target, or seeing the target as podium, because for the last number of years our target has always kind of been master, which we've accomplished fairly regularly, and more recently kind of top 10. So finishing 4th overall with OG players kind of like Strands and myself, clearly was not good enough anymore, unfortunately. No, I get it. Yes, there was a couple deaths that probably both him and I have caused that maybe led to us not finishing podium, but it's hard to say because everyone died this season. There's a lot of deaths, and maybe I died a little bit more frequently. And then clearly I was not good enough anymore for the Alliance to want to keep me around for whatever reason. So it's taken me a while to kind of create this video, because to be completely honest, was extremely heartbroken. I felt like a piece of me kind of died inside when I got the message from DLL that I was no longer welcome in the Alliance. Now again, he didn't just flat out say you're gone, this and that. Like we had like lengthy discussions about it, and kind of going back and forth, and I know it's just a game, but SSx has felt like a home for me for a very long time. As I mentioned before, I've seen stages where we were struggling to keep talented players when we were trying to push our way to Platinum 1 and Masters for 4 to 6 seasons. And seeing the high of all the way making it up to podium a couple of seasons ago, and then as 4th place finish as recently as last season. DLL is my oldest friend in the game. I was an officer with him at WA, with the kind of in the early stages of war, till I had to step back from a leadership role as work and personal family life were starting to ramp up, where he remained basically my BG officer kind of ever since. I remember having a discussion with, just kind of on a side note, I remember having a discussion with him and Vega about starting up their YouTube channels way back. And I'm pretty sure if I wasn't one of their first subscribers to both Vega and DLL, I was definitely in the first 5 for their now very successful channels. And I wish them continued success with it. They do great. They're great for the community. The knowledge and information that they share willingly is... You just can't get that level of expertise very easily, and they do such a good job at it. So shout out to both of them. But yeah, so I was definitely in their first 5 of the channels for sure in terms of subscribers. And just for the record, I still plan on speaking with DLL, catching his streams and when I can. And I know it must have been very hard for him to kind of have that discussion with me, and that I would be forced to kind of move on. So I respect the fact that once the decision has been made by vote or threats or rebellion or whatever it happened behind the scenes, that he was the one to actually deliver the message to me. I feel like if I had heard it from anyone else, I just would have lost kind of all kinds of respect for leadership and this and that. But that wasn't the case. So, and for the record, I did plead my case as to why I had a terrible season, whether it was a couple bad assignments, some poor play, being Christmas season with my work kind of had me preoccupied. So whatever the case, I'm not trying to make excuses as to why I had a bad season. It was more that I was kind of disappointed that it was decided that SSx was kind of heading in kind of a new different direction without me. And although I disagree with the reasons they couldn't move on with me, I won't be that guy to just cause a scene and shout out people and this and that. Like I think this is kind of as much of a call out as I'm gonna do. So and to be honest, I wasn't sure kind of how this video was gonna go. I'm really not sure what I was gonna come either out of my mouth or what I was gonna say. But as I'm like kind of watching these deaths, like this death here is just horrible, the one on Spider-Ham. Like there's 4 or 5 of them that just obviously I would love back, that I should have never died to. And again, some of these wars were already out of reach, and I've gone through kind of the specific fights on each of them. So if you wanted to go back and hear kind of play by play and different things going on, you can catch some of my older videos, but I'm not here for that right now. So the one things I can say kind of in my defense, because for those that do watch my channel, is that I never did die to the same fight twice. So they're all kind of unique fights that I went against, and 70% of my deaths were basically in the first, I want to say 5 wars. So I was starting to get better kind of as the season went on, and I just wish there was a little more consideration and patience, given as I was making kind of a significant effort after kind of those first 4 or 5 wars to ask for more questions and to try to get better and really talk through as much of the game plan as possible. Although I didn't really get an answer, or an answer I liked, I should say, as to why it wasn't enough. But it was more that I was being told now that I'm more of a liability than before, because my death depth of knowledge apparently is maybe lacking, specifically on, let's say, the newer champs, and they couldn't confidently assign me fights without the threat of me dying. So that was part of the message. And again, too, I'm not going to go into the details of every little thing that was going on, but the one thing I will say is that Kabam is designing war interactions to have more people die. I was definitely not the only one dying, and a lot of people in many good alliances were also dying. So I willingly admit that there were, like I mentioned before, that there was like 5 fights I really messed up on and should not have happened. And like them back, and 2 to 3 maybe bad assignments and a couple of really messed up AI fights that got me in a bad spot. That kind of all led to me being asked to leave politely. So who knows, maybe they had some monsters available to come in and needed to make space, and that was one of the reasons why I kind of was replaced as well. But anyways, in any case, enough about that. So it was just more that I do want to say that SSx will always hold a soft spot in my heart, like a parent has with their child that disappoints them but still loves them unconditionally. So with that being said, I do want to thank SSx and all of those that are in or have passed through at some point when I was there, for the half decade I spent in BG3. Some amazing connections with a lot of you: Nah, Clown, DLL, Caesar, Strands, Meta, Raw, Bear, Sim, Vega, Rez, and so many more that have passed through the BG. I will be in a temp home for the start of the season, but if all goes to plan, I will be happy to announce what will hopefully be my new permanent home moving forward. I was, truth be told, I was seriously considering retirement after the news, as there was a time I took a kind of a 1-season break. I think it was last year, maybe a year, 2 years ago, around the same kind of time. And nothing against the ally I joined, like the couple great guys, and a great ally, but the interest in the game itself was just not there. I felt, again, like something was missing, that I couldn't be involved with the process of kind of getting better and looking to improve SSx as an alliance. So, and honestly, if it wasn't for the nice things people have been saying since my news broke, and immediately saying that, and others saying that they would immediately take me the moment a spot opens up, as well as them being heavily involved in helping me find kind of a temp home until that spot opens up, I'm not sure how much longer I would have continued playing after the 9+ years. This has been kind of part of my life once I have the kind of the final content to finish, which is the kind of Necropolis. So the good news is I will continue to play on, to hopefully continue making videos, preferably without deaths, for your enjoyment. Although I know you guys tend to watch more of my videos when I do die, unfortunately. And we will plug on as the game continues to throw kind of the new challenges in the way. So yeah, so thank you all. Thank you, SSx, for all the good times, the friendships that were made, and I wish you continued success in your quest for podium, and that you don't end up crumbling like so many other alliances have done, trying to compete for those top spots. I do sincerely hope that you guys do well, and that you do accomplish your goals, and that you do find the joy and the camaraderie that I've been able to find kind of over the years. And I do wish you all the best. DLL, I know this is a tough spot for you, and I know that we'll still be friends, and I appreciate and respect the situation that you're in to have to go through this. And I know we've spoken on the side, but thank you for all that you have done to make my life easier in the game, as you have been a great kind of mentor along the way as well, and walking me through and teaching me through fights that obviously I will never have the same understanding that you have with the game, seeing as you're designing characters and stuff. But yeah, no, I do appreciate that, and thank you. So finally, and most importantly, I want to thank you all for watching this video, for tuning in and continuing to show your support for my small little channel. I do appreciate it very much, and thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one, whenever that may be. Thank you guys. Take care.